Guys, welcome into the AfterSchrock. So it'll be a little bit of a short one today. I got a lot to get done. We got my son's first, what's a scrimmage, but his first football game of the season today. So we're getting him all amped up and pumped up for that. And actually we have to make him garden with us before then. We got a lot of weeds to pull. So you can see where you rank now, right? Weed pulling, AfterSchrock, you know. No, I don't like pulling weeds. I don't. And part of it is some people like gardening. They find it very relaxing. But when I was a kid, my dad loved to plant and garden, but he didn't like to do a lot of the not fun jobs. And so I got to do those jobs. So I was out there with the pitchfork and I was turning the soil, and you got to turn the soil. And then there'd be some like junk metal thing that came up from the earth or something, you know, from back in the olden days. And I'd literally pull like a wagon wheel out of the ground. My dad's like, dig that up, that could be valuable. I'm like, it's a wagon wheel and I'm 10, you know. I'd dig it out and pull it out of the dirt, whatever. And so all those not fun gardening times are, oh, it's 5 o'clock, go water the lawn. And we didn't have a sprinkler, so I just have to stand there with the hose and my thumb, you know, and water the lawn. So yeah, to this day, I have an aversion to doing yard work. I don't like to do it. Mowing, I've come to peace with mowing. We had a 1/3 of an acre lot on a hill, and you know, I'd put the headphones on and I'd go mow, and you know, you're kind of just like in the zone, and you look up and you're done. You're like, wow, that's great. Now we have a lawn service because I don't like doing yard work. I just don't. Okay, but the weeding is something, you know. My wife goes out, she likes to garden, and so she has her garden, and we haven't had time to do weeding in a while. Now the weeds are out of control. So, you know, it's not such a big thing if everybody comes out and does it together. I'm like, I hear you, babe. I will be there. I will weed the garden with you. And because we tend to be like our fathers and our mothers, Jacob, I know you're 13. Come out here. You can pull weeds too. I don't want to pull. I don't care what you want. Come out here and pull weeds, or I'll make you water with your thumb. What? Never mind. Just come out here. So anyway, gosh, this week the news stories was a little light. Wow, that's loud. Hold for a moment. I'm going to get rid of the speaker. Just a sec. That's better. All right. Got it. All of a sudden, it was like the Apache Camping Center was in my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't think. All right, so interesting behind-the-scenes stuff. We've got a job we were really excited about doing. We're kind of in limbo now. We were going to do, KFAB was doing a whole studio redesign, but of course something happened with iHeart, and something happened with a contractor, and there was a disagreement about what was going to be traded for advertising and what was going to be paid. Or I don't have all the details. I just know that the studio remodel is on hold for a moment. We are investigating the possibility, however, that maybe Schrock could still just put the tech in and upgrade the technology in the studio a little bit. So the big thing is we want to put like a TV behind me instead of the KFAB banner, so we can put images on the screen. We want to get a streaming computer here with fixed camera positions, so we can go split screen or multi-screen with different people in the studio. It'd be kind of cool. And it has applications outside of the Schrock show that we do, the Compute This program, because it could be used anytime during the day by anybody in the studio. So it's kind of neat. So we'll keep you posted on that and let you know. All right. Mary says, when will Schrock Desk be available per household? How much do you save on secure update and preventative maintenance? Exact amounts, please. Well, you save 50% on all labor products. So, for example, if you get a maintenance checkup and you spend $90 on a maintenance checkup, half off of that would be $45. If you do the safe upgrade, so when the new version of Windows 10 comes out every 6 months, we have a special price for that. It's $80 instead of an hour of labor. That would be half off, which would be $40. So you know you're going to get 2 maintenance checkups per computer and 2 safe upgrades every year, right? So you're going to get half off of each of those. Now, the other half of your question is, when is the Schrock Desk going to go per household? That's an interesting question. We are right now in the process of implementing a new system that will allow us to better track and control what computers are covered by the Schrock Desk and which ones aren't. Right now, we don't have the ability to tell you which of your computers is covered by the Schrock Desk. We can just tell you if you're a Schrock Desk subscriber or not. Now, when we first put the Schrock Desk in, we were kind of naive, and we said, okay, it's $30 a month, you know, unlimited support. You know, if you have 2 computers in your house, we don't care. Just use Schrock for your stuff, and that's great. And then everybody wins. Well, then we had businesses coming along, or people who had home-based businesses, and they had like 5 computers for their business. And they said, oh, great, now I don't need to have an IT support guy anymore. I can just pay $30 a month, get unlimited help on the Schrock desk, and whenever any of my employees have problems with their computers, they can call Schrock Innovations and get instant help for free, basically. And so people started to abuse it, is what it amounted to. And we figure out who those people are, and it's not the vast majority. But there's nothing in the system that said, hey, this is a per computer deal. So quick, easy solution. We put in there, it's a per computer deal, and we selectively enforce it on people who are not fun. That's right. And that's kind of where it's been kind of ever since. So yeah, we put the Schrock desk into place, golly, in 2001, 2002. So that's where it's been ever since. Now, the new system that we have will actually allow us to assign Schrock desk to a particular computer and enforce that, so that when we connect to the computer, we will know if that's the computer that we're connecting to that's covered by the Schrock desk, which is kind of handy, right? Now, the problem we have is we have some people who are used to getting Schrock desk help on all the computers in their house for one low monthly price of $30. We have some people who have been told they can't do that because they tried to take a computer with 50 or 100, or a business with 50 or 100 computers and get them all covered for $30 a month, and we had to shut that show down. So what's the rule? What's the standard, if you will? And I'm not really big on having huge enforcement standards. Case in point, my wife went to Target yesterday, and Target usually has pretty good service. I don't dread going to Target. It's usually a pretty enjoyable experience. So my wife is doing something at the service counter, and the lovely Kimberly is standing there patiently, and there's a guy in front of her who's there with his 2 kids, or he's got 2 Make-A-Wish kids, or not Make-A-Wish, that's the wrong thing. Big brothers, big sisters. He basically has a couple kids that he's a big brother to, and they don't have bikes. And so he's coming to Target to buy them bicycles. And he doesn't have them with him right now, of course. But he wants to bring them back to get their bikes, right? And he has his car right now. He doesn't have the room to put bikes in it, and so he goes in and he purchases the bikes, and he goes to customer service and he says, can you hold these bikes for me for a couple hours while I go get a truck to come pick them up or whatever? And the lady at customer service was having a bad day, apparently, because she was short with a few customers in front of him as well. This was not an island. This was normal for her day. Sir, we can't hold paid merchandise, which I'm sure is totally accurate and totally like company policy. I get it, right? This guy is spending 120 bucks of his own money to buy bikes for kids that he volunteers to be a big brother for, who don't have a male role model in their life. That's what we need in this world. People like him. Don't make his life harder, for heaven's sake. Another woman in the line looks at this guy who she doesn't know from Adam, and she says, if we take all the car seats out of my van and we put them in your car, I can probably get both bikes in my van and we can take them to your house. That tells you, like, this guy on the surface was so incredibly trustworthy that she's like, I'll just put my kids in your car and you can put the bikes in my car. Maybe she was having a bad kid day and that was a great trade. I don't know. Maybe they were screamers. I don't know. But, we need more people like that in the world, right? Oh my gosh. And the lady at Target just gave him a hard time. Now, here's the thing. If he would have gone online and basically bought the bikes online using the Target curb pickup, they would have held them for him. But because he didn't do that, because he paid it at a register and then went to customer service, they wouldn't hold it for him. You get a manager involved in something like that, the manager's going to have the common sense to be like, dude, exception. You're a great guy. I'm going to make an exception for you. My name is Billy, and here's the phone number you can call in. You can ask for Billy. I'll hold these bikes in the manager's office for you. Just have Billy ask for Billy when you come to get them. Problem solved, right? Happy customer, happy Billy, happy 2 kids. Everything is right with the world. But that's not what happened. And it was just like, oh my gosh, So I don't like taking situations and locking my people down to the point where they have to enforce a corporate decision and they cannot make an exception, because common sense is what the world revolves on, believe it or not. And if we don't allow people who are good, smart, talented people who care about other people and want to help other people make those kind of decisions, yeah, we'll have the same system for everybody, and it'll be, what do they say? Rather than raising the level of happiness, we're going to lower the level of happiness to meet the level of misery. So we have a nice even average of misery and happiness. We don't want that. We want high happiness. That's what good service is about. So basically, the talk in the shop is right now is that we would take the Schrock desk and find some middle ground limit where it covers up to 3 PCs in your home. And then we have to identify which 3 PCs those are, and then it's set. So that's the initial thought about how we'll handle it. So long answer to a short question, Mary, is we're working on that. But right now we have no way to track that. So the only way you really get caught right now is if you call like 17 times a day and there's always a different person calling, and you're always giving us the name of somebody else to look up when we look up your account. That's the giveaways, okay? That's how we tell that this is not a normal Schrock desk situation, and you'd be better served as a corporate service agreement or something else that is better designed for what you're trying to accomplish, and honestly a fair exchange of value. But the Schrock desk is here for consumers. The whole point of the Schrock desk is when people retire out of the workforce, they were used to having a place at work that they could call and get help with a computer problem on their work computer. When you retire and go home, you don't have that anymore. So what if the Schrock desk could fill that void, could be that service, that person that you call when you need help with something? Could be something simple. We get calls all the time. My office toolbar is gone. How do I get it back? We haven't got that call in a long time, admittedly, but it used to have a toolbar. It really did. And people would call for that. Or more importantly, we had one guy call who couldn't figure out how to change his homepage on his browser. Simple thing. It took us longer to connect on the Schrock desk than it did to fix his problem. But that's what the Schrock desk is there for. So if it's something you guys are interested in, you can subscribe on our website. It's $30 a month. You can also you can come in and subscribe in the service center if you want to. When you buy a new computer from Schrock, you even get the Schrock desk free for 90 days. So if you're thinking about getting a new computer, don't sign up for the Schrock desk right now. Wait till you get your computer, and then there'll be a form that you fill it out that if you want to claim your 90 days of Schrock desk service for free, you can do that. You get 3 months free that way when you buy a new computer. So if you're thinking about a holiday special, for example, coming up in October, November, maybe you sit down and wait a little bit for that, because if you already have the Schrock desk service, the new computer just gets folded into your existing service. You don't get the freebie offer. The freebie offer is designed to get people who are not Schrock desk subscribers into the Schrock desk so they see the value in it and they stay subscribers. And that's the #1 way we actually get subscribers to the Schrock desk. All righty. Mark, you're thinking along my lines here. I've been trying to think of what we're going to do next month. Ideas for a monthly anniversary special, a passport program where if a person visits all 3 service centers in 2 days, that person wins a prize, discount, or coupon of some sort. That's an interesting idea. I don't know how many people would drive all the way from Lincoln to Omaha, or from Omaha to Lincoln, though, to have the chance at winning a prize. Or, because if we gave a prize to everybody, it'd have to be a pretty small prize, something like a T-shirt or a hat or something like that. And I'm not sure I would drive an hour unless I was already headed to that part of town for that. I like the way you're going, though. A passport is kind of an interesting concept. So let me talk with the lovely Kimberly. She is the maker of All Things Pretty and all sales and special offers that are amazing. She's been trying to get me to do a flash sale forever. You guys know what a flash sale is, right? And I keep telling her, because of the radio show and it's tape delayed a week when it goes to Lincoln, a flash sale is almost impossible to do, because in a flash sale, all of a sudden it's like, boom, for the next 3 hours, computers are half off, go, or whatever the sale is. And if you buy a computer, you save the money, and if you don't, you don't, and that's it. But then what would happen is I'd say it on the air this week, and then it would go over to the new, we aren't even open right now, so I'd have to say for the next 5 hours? I don't know. So you can buy it online, I guess. And then it would air in Lincoln the next week, and then it would be like a flash all over again sale. And then, it's complicated. So she says, just do it on Facebook. Do a flash sale on Facebook. Anyone who orders online right now will get this for half off. Okay, we could do that. What product would I like to sell for half off? We already do half off maintenance checkups. Safe Upgrade is already a special price. Computers I can't do half off because we don't have any margin in them hardly at all, especially after the tariffs. We don't have hardly any margin. So what could I do half off? People don't buy hours of labor for computer repair to hold on to for the future. They just don't do that. I mean, why would you pay for an hour of a plumber's time now on the need that someday you might need a plumber? You just wouldn't do that. It doesn't make sense, right? There's some things that make sense with. Buy one, get one sandwiches, that makes sense. The little card that the kids come around to sell with all the discounts on it that you use all year long, that makes sense. Hey, well, just in case your computer ever tanks on you, let me tell you what, we got your deal right here. Doesn't make so much sense. So anyway, if you have thoughts on that, let me know. All right, Carolyn, Round Rock. Congratulations to Nancy. Sad it wasn't me. We don't know actually if we won Best of Omaha. The voting results don't come in for some time here. They have to tally everything up. But let's take a look. Best of Omaha. Let's see when that results comes out, or when the results come out, I should say. Wow. Best of Omaha. Results for the 2020 Best of Omaha contest are coming soon. Best of Omaha is the legitimate contest. Okay. Other contests. Sell business name, business logo, advertisement place on the ballot. Oh, okay. So anyway, they don't say when they're going to announce it. They just say it's going to be announced soon. So usually this happens in the fall, September-ish, maybe October, November, but we'll find out hopefully here soon. Usually the businesses get contacted before the public is. So in other words, they send out the press materials and the marketing materials, and they say, you can't say anything for the next month. And that allows people to get billboards made or to get ads placed, things like that. So you can't say anything for a month. But then after that, then you can say anything you want. So here's what we should do, guys. We need to come up with a pass, like a key phrase, a secret word that if we win, I can use. Now, the folder that I created to save all of your entries and that you emailed me, there's over 300 entries. And I called that BOO, Best of Omaha, is my Boo folder. And I'm thinking, Halloween is coming up, right? So if I was suddenly in the AfterSchrock and I went, boo, you guys would know what I was saying, right? Then everyone else would be like, this guy is nuts. What's he doing? Somebody get that guy a cat or something. He's crazy. Sorry, if you're a cat owner, I didn't mean it. I used to have a cat, actually. My wife got rid of it. Mama Puds was a good cat. But I like my wife more. I'm in so much trouble right now. The long and the short of it is, so we have boo. We can use boo if we win. If we don't win, though, if I don't hear it, that's the thing. If you don't win, you just don't hear anything. So I guess as soon as I hear the next show after that, I'll say boo, and you'll know. But I can't officially announce it until, But if I said boo, and then one of you posted, congratulations on winning the Best of Omaha, Thor! Exclamation mark, smiley face, top fan, Jewel. I didn't announce that. That wasn't me. All righty. She didn't have any kids. Wait a minute, then why was she saying to move? Why did she have car seats if she didn't have kids? You told me that story, lovely Kimberly, and I'm just assuming the lady said she had car seats in her vehicle. She was going to move over. She didn't have, were the kids maybe just not with her? Because that makes more sense, because I was like, wow, this guy must have been like Santa Claus himself if she was going to put her kids in his car and put the bikes in her van. That's crazy, right? So if she did she not have the kids with her? Or is she one of those people, you've heard of these people, right? And forgive me if you're one of them, but they push like baby carriages around, and inside there's a doll. And they're adults, and they just have like a baby doll, and they'll feed the baby doll and they'll diaper the baby doll like it's a real baby. And then you walk past them, you look in the thing, and it's a doll, and it's creepy. You're like, what a cute little baby. All right, up to 3 PCs, man. I don't even own one. I'm just here for the knowledge and being a top fan. Bryce. Hi, Zane. All right, my starting point is Grand Island. Is that where you ended up? Mark, is that where you ended up? Are you still in Grand Island? Received a call from Brendan at the Omaha Service Center regarding Endpoint Mobile on Monday. Voicemail didn't hit my screen until late Wednesday, which is not your fault. I called back and left a message on Thursday. No call back. Have you heard back from Symantec? Okay, so there is we have many open tickets with Symantec right now, dealing with several different issues having to do with mobile protection. So we are still continuing to work with them, Gary. I don't know why you haven't gotten a call back specifically, but it's possible that Parker wasn't aware of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that Parker is aware of that for you and that we can get a call back to you. If not today, then Monday for sure. So this will be the easiest way for me to do that. Bam, there we go. And I will send that over to Parker. All right. Good morning, Wesley from Des Moines. There you go. See, you know what I'm talking about. They weren't with her. Okay, so that makes sense. She's not a crazy woman with dolls. She's just a mom that didn't have her kids with her, and she's like, we can take the bikes. That makes a lot more sense, actually. But I don't know. It's just someone's trying to do something nice in the world, and you gotta help out. So, interesting thing, guys. I spend a lot of time asking for reviews on the show. Asking for 5-star reviews, asking for Google reviews, asking for Yelp reviews. And we get 5-star reviews, and almost every single time we get a 1 or 2-star review, it's fake. Like, it's literally, Google is very good at detecting when people go out and hire a service to give them 5-star reviews. They're very good at detecting that, and you can really get your business in a lot of trouble. Never, ever, ever go out and hire a company that says they can get you reviews like that. It's always a scam. It's always bad news. However, Google is not good at someone hiring a company to post negative reviews about a business. And you're like, why would anybody want to do that, right? Well, imagine you have a competitor and you're online having battle with these competitors, trying to get more business in your store, and someone is kicking your tail because they've got 5,000 5-star reviews suddenly in the last month, and you're like, what's going on? I'm getting killed. So you go hire a company to post a couple 1-star reviews, and that's usually generic stuff. First of all, the guy's from Germany. And it says, like, my grandma went in there and she didn't have a virus when she came in, and Schrock put a virus on her computer. It just stupid stuff like that, right? We actually got a 1-star review that we actually earned. Yeah, that's very unusual. But one of the things is if you don't acknowledge a mistake when you make it, and you don't try to make it right, you're never going to learn from it, right? So we had a computer come into the Omaha Service Center. It was a MacBook. Had a bad solid state bad solid state drive, needed a new one. Unfortunately, MacBook solid state drives are different for every model of Mac you get. So every year you get a new MacBook, it has a different form factor of solid state drive, whereas PCs have used the same form factor for years. So we can carry one hard drive in and fix any PC that comes in, or with Macs, we have to carry drives for each individual model of Mac. So when a 2012 MacBook came in with a solid state hard drive, or 2014 MacBook with a solid state hard drive came in, we just didn't have that drive in stock, so we had to order it. Mac solid state drives, because they're touchy, you want to, sometimes if you go on Amazon, for example, or you go on any of these other services and you go to order a piece of hardware, you order the hardware and it comes in and it's not what you thought it was. And of course they have great return policies, everything else, but you're dealing with service, you want to get it quick. So the company that we order, we have a specific company that we order all of our Mac solid states through. And it's Otherworld Computing. They specialize in Mac parts. And so when we order the Mac solid states in, we got the Mac solid state. The picture on the screen was exactly what we needed. The description on the screen was exactly what we needed. We received the solid state, but the hard drive was wrong. They sent us the wrong drive. It happens. It's a bummer. It took 5 days to get here. So customer brought in the computer. We spent a couple days diagnosing it. A weekend hit. So by the time we actually were able to order the part, about a week had gone by because of the timing of the weekend, and we couldn't order on the weekend. So we ordered the drive. It takes a week to get here. Now we're 2 weeks in. And okay, that's really unusual, but it's a MacBook and whatever. We get the wrong drive in. And so the guys return the drive back to OWC. Now, I do all the ordering. And so I was under the impression that the drive was being cross-shipped. So we were returning it to OWC, and OWC was sending us a replacement drive at the same time to minimize shipping time. Because we do so much business with them, they know who we are. So, hey, cross-ship one to us. But apparently when the return was made, the employee who did the return just did a return. He didn't actually request a cross-ship. And so as a result, I didn't order another drive because I thought we were getting one. We didn't know that the drive wasn't there until 5 days went by and the drive didn't show up. And then we're like, where is this drive? So we go to track it and we find out it was never cross-shipped. So then I'm like, boom, oh my gosh. So then I order the drive and I put rush shipping on it, which will get it here in like 3 days instead of 5, but at least get it before the weekend. And I'm like, whew, okay, that's great. So what did we not do right so far? Nobody had called the customer to tell him any of this happened. So the customer is just sitting there thinking, it's been 3 weeks and my laptop's not finished. I think it's pretty reasonable to get a laptop fixed in 3 weeks. And he's right. It is very reasonable to have a laptop fixed in 3 weeks or less. We advertise same day, next day service. So 3 weeks is pretty substantial. And so he calls it, his wife calls in to check the status, and front desk employee says, no, the part's not in yet, because she's aware of what's going on. But we're expecting it soon. Okay, great. The next day, the husband calls in. And Kyle was sick that day in the service center, so Parker was filling in the service center. Parker wasn't involved in the process with this drive from the beginning. So he looks at the tech notes, and the tech note says, drive arrived, right? And the text didn't write any notes. So mistake number 2, there were no notes about the return or the cross ship or anything. So Parker's looking at this, and he sees that there's a solid state drive in the computer. He sees the part arrived 5 days ago, and he's like, come on, guys. He turns on the computer. It turns on for him. It's fixed. They did it. So he puts it up, cleans it up. He goes, actually, we got it all done for you, sir. The guy lives in Underwood, Iowa. So he drives all the way in from Underwood to pick it up. So he gets in, and Gabe is there. And Gabe is aware of what's going on with the computer. But he knows Parker was working on it, and Parker told him it was done. And Parker's the manager, so it must be done, right? Parker wouldn't tell somebody something's done if it's not done. That's just not, Parker's good. That's not how he rolls. So he turns around then and says, oh, I guess it doesn't invoice for some reason. So he starts invoicing it up. The customer happens to open the computer on the front counter, and it does the exact same thing it was doing to the customer before. So it's obvious. No one's even looked at the laptop. This is like a $400 repair ticket. We're about to charge this guy $400 for something that didn't even get fixed. So you can go back through that chain of events, and you can see failure point on communication, failure point on internal communication notes. You can see failure point on staff training possibly, but the long story short here is it was a fail, and so he's like, just give me a refund. And Gabe, again, empowering your people to make decisions that make common sense. Gabe knows that the return policy has a 20% restock fee, so he says that. I wouldn't have said that. I would have just been like, I'm so sorry, sir. Let me give you a refund. But Gabe is trying to enforce. He knows his job requires him to assess a restocking fee if a customer returns hardware that's been special ordered just for them. So Gabe mentions it, and the guy gets upset, as you can imagine. I'll say upset and understate it. And so Gabe makes the right decision then, and overrides the return policy and says, you know what, I'm just going to give you a full refund. He texts me about it later, says, I'm sorry, Thor. I felt like it was the right thing to do. You're not going to get knocked for doing that. That, especially in this situation, you were right. It's the right thing to do. So Monday comes around, and I call the gentleman at home, and I'm like, listen, I want to apologize. We epically failed here. I mean, there's just no 2 ways to slice it. This is an epic failure. Guy was a new customer, came in with a new customer coupon, probably listening on WHO in Des Moines. This is not the kind of experience we want you to have at Schrock Innovations. And so I explained to him what happened, and I offered to, take the hard drive for cost. So we were not even going to charge him the markup or anything, just the cost of the hardware. And I will send a technician to your home to install the hard drive in your computer and get everything transferred over, no labor cost, in Underwood, Iowa, because you had to drive all the way in. I don't want to make you drive all the way back in again. So let me send a tech to you with the hardware. The guy was so upset that he's like, you're never going to earn my business back. It's not going to happen. But I appreciate the call. He was cordial, but he was very clear that we had screwed up and he does not trust us. And oh man. So anybody you've watched the show for a while, like the night before, like Sunday night, I'm laying in bed thinking about this situation, like, oh my gosh, this guy is so upset, and how did we let him down like this, and what can we change, how can we improve this so this doesn't happen anymore? So usually when I give away the farm to try to make something right, usually the customer at least gives me the opportunity to make it right. We don't make any money, we actually lose money making it right, but then I can at least come back and say, yeah, it was a bad situation, but Schrock made it right. That's my goal at that point. I'm not trying to get rid of a 1-star review. I'm just trying to make it right. He didn't want to let me do that. And that was the first time in 20 years I've had a customer do that. And I'm just like, if I would have offered to do the job completely for free, he wouldn't have let me do it. Wow. So this is weighing on me. And so I was over at the Papillion Service Center. There's a Hy-Vee right there. We needed some milk and some groceries and things. So my wife asked me if I'd stop over there on the way home. So I'm walking through there. Scott Voorhees is hanging out up front at the KFAB studio thing. So I'm like, hey, Scott's here. You know, click picture of Scott. Post that later, whatever. He didn't even see me. He was into whatever he was doing. So I'm like, yeah, not a very flattering picture of Scott, but, you know, it's a picture of Scott. And then I go through and get back to the dairy aisle, and I'm getting the milk and everything. And Kyle texts me, hey, how did everything go in the shop? Because he was out sick. And I texted him back like, oh, wow, let me tell you a story. Check out the work order. I put full notes about what happened on the work order in case the customer changes his mind and calls us back and decides to take us up on the offer. That way my technicians know he's not crazy, that we're actually going to send someone out to Underwood, Iowa for free to do an on-site hard drive install with data transfer on a MacBook. Like the stack of things that we don't normally do is pretty tall on that order. So anyway, data transfers take forever. Customers don't want us to do them on site because they take hours on Mac because you have to do it all with USB. And so it can take hours and hours, and you're paying us $135 an hour to be there. Most customers do a pickup and a drop off. I wasn't going to try to ask this guy to let us take his computer back to the service center again. So I'm in the dairy aisle and I'm texting Kyle, completely unaware of my surroundings, right? Bad situational awareness, texting along. And I hear Thor Schrock, and I look up, and I have no idea who this person is. And, you know, instantly I go into, like, I'm good with faces and I'm bad with names. So over time, I've developed a really good, like, hey, how are you? Oh, it's so good to see you. And they're like, we've never met. I'm like, you look like someone I know. But anyway, so he's there, and I'm like, oh, hi, thank you. He's like, I listen to your show every week, and I didn't know if that was really you because I only see you on YouTube videos. And I was like, oh, wow. In 20 years, that's a first. I've never had anybody approach me from seeing me on YouTube. That's pretty cool, right? So I'm like, okay, well, hey, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, the whole bit. I'm never quite sure what to say, so I'm always like, thank you, because that's a good place to start. And then, everybody thinks, oh, you must be so famous because you're in radio. And I'm like, I'm an AM radio star, it doesn't it doesn't do much for you. I don't get into the clubs, if that tells you anything. But so anyway, he goes back and he says, do you have time if I ask you a couple quick questions? This is what I do. Sure, no worries. What do you need? So he asked me a couple really simple questions about email providers and things like that, leaving the computer on or something. Really easy questions. So I answer his questions, and after he's done, he thanks me for taking the time to answer his questions for him in the dairy aisle at Hy-Vee. And then he stops and he looks over his shoulder and he goes, thank you for being a member of the community. Which normally it's like, I'm the guy that drops their kid off at school and everyone's like, and I'm like, you're so fake. Oh my gosh, this is so fake. So, I'm like, oh, just be real. Like, oh, I had a rough weekend. I'm tired. I'll take your kid, be real. So anyway, he says, thank you for being a member of the community. And normally I would just, thank you, whatever. But it just hit me because I'd had such a bad, I was still carrying all this baggage with me. And that one guy in that one moment managed to lift that all off of me. And wow, I thought that, and I told him, thank you. You have no idea. I just got off a phone call that was a real unpleasant situation, and I was carrying that with me. And you just saying that right now, you just made my day. And then he was all embarrassed and weird and everything. So we're like, okay, have a great day. I'll shake hands and go away. But it was just cool. So, it's one of those things like today, if you're out and about, take the time to tell somebody something nice. You have no idea how it'll impact. Maybe if somebody would have said something nice to that lady at Target, she had to let that guy store his bikes behind the counter. You never know. All righty, let's see. Scrolling down. Passport program suggestion guy. Oh, your starting point is Grand Island. Got it. For the passport. It makes sense now. So you're willing to drive all the way from Grand Island. You know that people have suggested that we put a service center in Grand Island. Apparently, the only computer repair store in Grand Island decided they weren't going to do consumer repair anymore. They only do business repair now. And we've had people drive all the way in from Grand Island and say, I wish you guys would open a store in Grand Island because there's nothing out there right now. And I'm just like, oh, I can't do. One store is enough, right? I can't do multiple stores at the same time. And I've been telling Des Moines for a long time. Oh, golly. Maybe someday, but not just yet. Okay. So I have an internal backup on my HP. You can see open up files. You can see and open up files on it. But now the Windows backup can't see the drive. Any ideas? Okay, so the first thing is if the Windows backup program doesn't say that the drive exists there anymore and it's an internal drive, there's a couple of reasons this can happen. Number one, hard drives go bad. If that's the case, you can check and see with Drive Advisor. If you have Drive Advisor installed and you open up Drive Advisor and it says there's 2 hard drives there, it'll tell you the health. If it says there's only 1 hard drive there, that means your backup drive has either completely died and gone kaput, or maybe a cable fell out and it needs to be plugged back in again. So those would be the things that I would check first before you get too concerned about it. If you don't have Drive Advisor, the other thing that you can do is you can go down and right-click. Drive Advisor is free. Just install Drive Advisor. But you can go down and right-click on your Start menu, and you can left-click on Disk Management. And it will show you a list of all the hard drives installed on your computer. Try not to mess too much in there, because if you delete the wrong thing or try to modify the wrong thing, you can mess your computer up pretty bad. You don't want to do that. But you can at least look in there and see if there are multiple hard drives listed and how big they are. It'll tell you if the drive is there. I've already made a Google review, and my only option is to edit my original review. Won't let me make another review. Well, thank you for trying to do another one, Richard. You know, though, we have 3 locations, and each location is considered a different entity. So you could review each of the 3 locations, and that would be pretty awesome. But thank you for that. I appreciate it, Richard. All right. Did more surge protectors arrive from the? It did, and we sold them, actually, Mark. In fact, the last one went to a customer who purchased one with their new computer, so I've got another order out right now. Of course, they're on back order, and we're waiting for them to come in. But as soon as we get them in, I'll let you know on the air here that we've got them back in stock. Thank you, Wendell. I love you listening. Thank you. All right. GM Thor. General Manager Thor? Thor. Teresa, I'm not sure what you're saying. Drive Advisor says 100%. So yeah, the hard drive is there. I'm not sure why the Windows backup software is not seeing the drive. The other thing is it may not have a drive letter associated with it. Sometimes we've noticed this on the newest version of Windows 10. When you restart the computer, sometimes it doesn't assign drive letters to all of your drives. So the drive could be installed and partitioned and have files on it and everything, but it just doesn't get a drive letter. So here's how you can check that, Russell. This is a little touchy, so make sure you you follow the directions precisely on this one, because I don't want you to do the wrong thing and nix something. So like I said earlier, to get into the disk manager, go down and right-click on the Start menu. That's the lower left-hand corner. Right-click on that. That's going to cause a menu to open. When that menu opens, left-click on Disk Management. This is going to open the disk management window, which is going to give you a list of all the disks. And this window is organized. The top has just like a list of the disks, kind of like files. And on the bottom is all the details about the disks. There's big, long boxes that are all subdivided down into different partitions. So we want to figure out which disk we're looking for. So my guess is you have a solid state for your main drive, which will be a smaller disk, and then you have a bigger disk for your backup drive. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you can scroll down. It shows you the size of all the disks. So what you want to look for here is a big disk that has a partition on it that doesn't have a letter. So you can see mine has a C for the C drive. My backup drive has an E on it because it's the E drive. But if that drive said backup, but there was no letter after it, that means it needs a drive letter. So then you would right-click on that box that is missing the letter, not any other boxes on the line, just that one box that's missing the letter. That's what's important here. And then you can say that if you right-click, the menu pops open and it says Change Drive Letter and Path. You can click on that, and it'll say, what letter do you want to add it? It just gives you the next letter. You just click OK, and then it'll give you a letter. And then once you've got a letter, it should show up. Windows Backup should see it. It should be able to do your backups, because if it can't see the drive, it's not doing your backups right now. I threw a lot at you there, Russell. Let me know if you need a repeat on any of it. All righty. Good morning, Teresa. Oh, GM, good morning. I'm so dense sometimes. Good morning, Teresa. Thank you. GM Thor? Oh, my gosh. See, sometimes people can have so much knowledge and so little knowledge at the same time, guys. It's just unbelievable. So I saw this thing. I forwarded it. It was a funny thing on Facebook. I thought it was funny anyway. So you know how you can see the Facebook Marketplace ads? And so the Facebook Marketplace ad had an iPhone 7. And it was iPhone 7, $300, phone is locked, but I have the finger. And then in the other picture, you know how they have 3 pictures. There's the phone, and then there's a charger down here, and up here there's a picture of a severed finger. And I just thought that was hilarious because, like, wow, somebody stole the guy's phone and took his finger too so you could unlock it. That's pretty crazy. You know, most thieves aren't that dedicated. So I don't know, funny Facebook memes. I didn't forward that one on the company page because the lovely Kimberly is trying to educate me on what's appropriate to share and what's not appropriate to share. So the AfterSchrock is my freedom zone. I can share anything I want in the AfterSchrock. But during the radio show and on Facebook, I have to be a little, like, you know, no matter how funny the story is, you can't share anything about poop on Facebook. It's just not appropriate. Ever. Never. Never, ever, 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 ever. Nope. No matter how funny you think it is, you can't do it. See, these ground rules are things that I need in my life. Lovely Kimberly helps me. All right, guys. Last call for questions. I got to get rolling here. About 43 minutes in. It's like a whole other radio show anymore. All righty. Let me think. So Lincoln Service Center is fully operational. The phone lines are jacked as all hell, but you won't notice. We've got the two phone companies finally talking to each other and Jimmy rigging everything. Except for Tuesday, it's all going to blow up when they try to put it all right. And so it's going to all have to be broken to be remade. But that's for Tuesday. So if you have trouble getting through to Lincoln on Tuesday, that's what it is. Hopefully not. Yeah. So we had to have Allo come in and give us 4 brand new phone lines with 4 brand new phone numbers. And they gave us these. We actually have 2 different area codes. I'm like, it's blowing my mind to not have 402 area codes in Nebraska, or even 308. We've had 308 for a while now. But now it's like 510 and all these other ones. And I'm like, what are these area codes? I have no idea where these are from. So we have 4 phone numbers that are completely temporary junk phone numbers. And then we have Spectrum forwarding all of our phone lines to the junk phone numbers. So because Spectrum needs 5 business days to port a phone number over to another company. For no reason. It's a switch. 5 business days. This is just to annoy people who are leaving. So anyway, 5 business days will be Tuesday. So that means to transfer the phone numbers over, they're going to have to turn off the forwards, and then they're going to have to transfer the phone numbers over to Allo. Then we'll have to get on the phone with Allo and say, we have 4 junk phone numbers right now. I need you to re-provision our phone modem with our 4 real phone numbers so that we can make sure that we get the real phone numbers we're supposed to have. Nothing's going to go wrong in this whole process. I'm absolutely certain of it. Yeah, it's going to go terribly wrong. It has drive F, due for a maintenance check, did a backup on the external drive in the meantime. All right, there we go. So yeah, bring that sucker in, Russell. We'll take a look at it for you and see if we can't get that straightened out. All right, guys, thank you for watching the show. Make sure you grab those maintenance certificates. This is the last week, so basically we're gonna end it on a Sunday, next Sunday. And of course, that'll go for another mystery week in Lincoln because, you know, Lincoln gets everything a week delayed. So basically, if you're looking to pick up a certificate, now's the time to do it. If you're looking to come into the service centers, the Papillion Service Center is ready for you. Like, if you want a quick turnaround time, Papillion is your Huckleberry today. Omaha Service Center is not super busy. Yesterday, they only checked in. Let me take a look here. Yesterday was the 24th. They only checked in about 8 or 9 computers yesterday in there, so which is about normal for a non-maintenance sale. So that's that they're not that busy. They've got 40 bench spots in there, so they can get you a quick turnaround there as well. Lincoln Service Center, about the same. So yeah, so definitely swing those computers in. If you have a certificate you need to burn, now's the time to burn it. If you need a certificate so you're protected for the next 6 months, so you can bring it in whenever you want, now's the time to grab that too. You can call in and purchase, or you can purchase it at SchrockInnovations.com. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great week. Compute safely, and we'll see you again next Sunday.